Okay, let's wait for the other people to come for some time. Till then, let me show you another good example of how powerful this software is. This is an open source software and it's competing with the leaders of the animation and design software like Maya and Autodesk Max. Let me share the screen. Now, this is a scene created by one of the best artists in Blender. Let this scene load for some seconds. This scene is loading. Yes. Can you guys see? This is one of the best. This is the work of one of the best artists in Blender. His name is Ian Hubert. As you can see, without ray tracing, he created a very beautiful scenery. This is a concept art of a dystopian city. You see these. It has all different aspects like environment, vehicles, people. By the way, these are all photo scan models. If I hide everything else, if I zoom in on the model of this woman, this is a photo scan model. This is relatively easy to make with Blender. It looks very real and it is real, and it is all the thing, and it is pre-equipped with all things like its own armature and bone structure. As you can see, if I select this wireframe that you can see, these lines, these sticks, these are called as the bone structure, which I will teach you in today's session. Using this, we can rig different models to move according to as we want. One more thing about about this file is the, the quality of how it is made. Like it's still in EV, and even with very little samples of light, it is a very good scene. It looks almost real. If I render this in cycles, it will look even more real, but there won't be much difference. But still, you can make such photoreal environments in Blender. And one last file that I would like to show you is this one. Where is it? Yes, a good example of 2D art in Blender. This is called as the grease pencil feature. It came along in I think 2.83 long-term support version of Blender. Yes, as you can see, this is actually a 3D scene, but it looks like 2D just because of the way the shaders are. And this is actually an animation. Let me play the animation for you guys. This is a 2D animation made in a 3D world. Almost all aspects of this animation are 3D except for the shaders and the lighting. By the way, this is one of the demo files. I'll link up to you the into the demo files where you can learn about more features of how to use Blender. This is the grease pencil feature. It's recently come along, I think just a year ago. And as you can see, it's pretty much fantastic. All right, let me stop screen sharing now and we'll start in 1 or 2 minutes now. Okay.
अरे नकू कर दो start.
हाँ स्टार्ट करते हैं अभी फिर. Okay, so this today we are going to learn about animation, and animation in Blender is different from what you will see in Premiere Pro. I will share the screen right now, and as you can see, this is a robotic arm which will be modeled in Blender, and the same robotic arm is going to be textured and given proper shading and colors by my friend Ayush in the later part of this session. For now, we will do its rigging and animation. Let me increase the shadows on this one so that you can see the features. First, let me show you some of the topology of this object. Now, as you can see, if I hide this cube, first one, and as you can see, almost all the faces on this object are quadrilaterals, and that's one essential thing that you should keep in mind while making anything in Blender. Every face on the surface should be a quadrilateral, or else the topology is not perfect. Because if every surface is a quadrilateral, then it is very easy for the computer and Blender to process the object, to texture the object and animate the object. Or else there will be glitches while shading, either textures will get stretched, etc., etc. So just keep in mind that all faces should be quadrilaterals. Now we will start to rig this arm. First of all, let me tell you something, that before we rig or animate something, we have to set up the this small toolbar here. This is the timeline toolbar which you can just pull up. You see this small crosshair in, you see my mouse, when it goes into this corner, it becomes a crosshair. I drag it by clicking left click, and then we can pull up even more bars, like I can pull up the driver bar, the 3D viewport menu, etc., etc. For now, we will just use these two, that is the timeline and the 3D viewport. So let me annotate first of how we are going to animate this. Before we animate anything in Blender, the first thing that we do is describe how it will move and what will be the range of motion. Now, as you may be familiar with what a robotic arm does, so without wasting any more time, let me just draw, like, 1 second. So this will be, this arm will not go beyond this line, because it's his resting position, and I've modeled it such, and this will move within this domain that the blue line is covering. See, it should move in this domain that the blue line is covering, and this, there will be one joint, we will put one joint here and one joint here. All right, we have now the basic outline of what we are going to do. Now before we move on further, I would like to show you something which is called as the armature. Now if we press shift plus A, you get several options. Go here, we see the armature option. We have the single bone, human, meta rig, animals, and basic. You can get you don't get all these usually. I have turned on some preferences in this menu. You can turn them on later, I will tell you if you want. But first we will do the basic one with single bone. Press shift plus A, armature. We will get select this one, and what do we get? We get a single bone. Let me move this here and scale this up a bit. So this is how a single bone looks in Blender. If we go to this tab here and scroll down, we will select this option in front, so that wherever we move, this bone is visible through any object. Now let me turn on screencast keys so that you can follow whatever I do. Okay, so now whichever button I press, it will be highlighted in this area. For example, if I left click, it highlights. If I press N, it highlights there, so that it will be easier to follow my instructions. Now I'll click this bone and press Alt plus G. What it does, it resets the position. Instead of pressing Control plus Z, I request you to press Alt plus Z if you're following along. Now we have to we know that this part right here, this part should not move. This will be fixed to the ground. So we will not rig this and rig this portion instead. We will rig this portion and not this one. Okay, so let's get started. Now I will press tab, selecting the bone, and go into the edit mode. Or rather, yes, that's okay. Let's do it like this. Now you see we will hide this cube. It's not necessary for now in a scene. And I will select this part of the bone, that is the small ball shaped small ball in the beneath the bone, and I'll press G and move it. I'll move it to here because this is where the first joint will be. Now I will select this one and I will move it here somewhat. Yes. First, what we are going to do is we are going to create a small basic structure of our armature, or for along which the object is going to move. This will define the constraints of how the object should move. Now I am going to press E, and what it will do is it will extrude another bone from that same joint, and I will put this bone right there. Now This should be the basic structure of the armature. It just has two bones, which should be pretty enough for a beginner level. If not, then you are free to tell me so. Now I will press Shift A again while in the edit mode. I will press Shift plus A. Now we got another bone. We will move this bone here, and this shall be the control bone. Basically, every armature has two parts. First is the basic structure, and other is the control bone. While selecting the small ball shaped here, and we will press G and move it to here. Control bones, I usually add them later on while animating and rigging. And then we will select this ball and move this right there. Or yes, somewhat there. Okay. Now I will press tab, and when if you have selected any bone or any armature in Blender, it gives you three modes to edit that armature or the bones that you have added. These are the object modes where you can edit the layout, you can rotate it, you can move it along, do as you will. Second is the edit mode, which allows you to edit the position of the bones. You can scale them whatever you want. And third is the pose mode, which we are going to work now, which we are going to work now. So before rigging this armature, there's one feature that you should know about, which is inverse kinematics. So one thing that you should notice while rigging is, first thing first, we know that this part, this let me press Control plus Tab and go into object mode. This part that we are going to rig, this is not going to, this part here, it's not going to go this way. It should go only this way. This one is wrong, this one is right. So let me erase this now. So we are going to rig this model according to that only. This much should be first, this much should be kept in mind before rigging any object. Now let's go into Control plus Tab and pose mode. While selecting the bone, you can go into pose mode. And then we have something called as the inverse kinematics. This is one very good feature of Blender. Let me show you one small example. Instead of rigging this bone first, I'll show you another example. Let's keep that one on standby and let's animate a small leg type thing. We have added one bone. Let's zoom in. We'll move this right here. This should be the femur of the leg. That is the thigh bone. And then we will extrude it. This should be the calf. And then we will add another bone. This should be the feet or the control bone. Now if I press tab, go to object mode, and then I will press Control plus tab, and now I am in pose mode. Now I will select the control bone and the bone adjacent to it, and then I'll press Shift plus I. Now we get this menu. That's called add IK, that is inverse kinematics, and this example is just here to show you how the inverse kinematic feature works in Blender. If I add it, what do we see? We see that this bone becomes yellow. That's because we have parented this to this bone to this bone, and then we have added inverse kinematics to it. This is what we have basically done now. And now if I select the control bone and move it around, you can see that it pretty much works like a small leg. It works just like a leg. So this is just the basic of it. And now we will using similar procedure, we are going to make the arms. So now we know that our arm cannot move in this, that our arm can only move in this direction. And this part can rotate up to there, but not completely there. You know, let me erase this. We will select our armature that we are going to animate, press Control plus Tab, go into pose mode, select our control bone, then the bone adjacent to it, press Shift plus I, inverse kinematics. Now we have not yet parented the armature to our object. So first let us see how our uh, bone system works. Does it work like an armature, robotic arm? Yes, it pretty much does. It is moving according to the constraints. It's not going below what we had designed. And okay, this should be good enough. Now we'll go back to object mode. Now we are going to parent the bones to our object. Now what this does is, first let me show you how to parent it and let me show you the effects of it. First I'll select the object, then I'll select the bone, that is the armature, and this we'll press Ctrl plus P. This opens up a parenting menu. In the parenting menu, you can parent one object to the other, and if I press this keep transform, it will copy all the locations, not the rotations of the bone. And this is not what we have to do. I'll press Ctrl plus Z to deparent it, press Ctrl plus P. We have to do this armature deform with automatic weights. This takes some time, and there you go. The armature has set the origin to geometry. Okay, but now we have a small error here, and this will be there all the time. What we have is our geometry got a little bit deformed. A geometry got a little bit deformed. This should not happen, and this happens because when you do, this is one feature that I wanted to tell you. This happens every time when you model the or make the armature in an incorrect manner. We'll press Ctrl plus Z and we'll deparent it. Now we will edit the armature first so that it does not deform our mesh. We can just go here and select not to deform the mesh, but we don't want to do that. We'll model it correctly first. Go to edit mode, select this part, move it right there, select this and move it right there. Oh, all right. This should be good enough. Press tab again. Now selecting the armature, we will go to the pose mode. And yes, it has not affected the inverse kinematics. The inverse kinematics still work correctly. A little bit there. Okay. Yes. Yes. Oh, all right. Now I will select the object, select the armature, and then we are going to parent it with automatic weights. You may have noticed that this cube that or the object that we have, it moved a little bit downwards, but that's okay. The mesh didn't get deformed in a drastic manner anywhere. Now what we'll do is we'll bring back this pedestal on which the arm is there, and now selecting the armature, I am going to set its origin to its geometry. Go press Ctrl plus tab, go into pose mode. Now as you can see, the arm is moving according to how the bones we have set. Now let's animate it. We will press this small dot here. What this does is, if I move it anywhere, select this bone, if I move it anywhere, it will just copy the constraints and automatically it will set the keyframes for that. All right, so if let me just erase that line. Let's erase this part and let's go here. All right, so say our arm starts from here. Yes. So as you can see, these square shaped dots have appeared in our timeline on the first frame itself. These are actually the location and the rotation constraints that have been copied to the keyframes. And basically this is what animation in After Effects does, but here we are editing each and every one of the frames. Now we will move to 40th frame and we will move it a bit down, just right there. Yeah, that should be okay. Then go to the 80th frame, move it a bit down again. We all know how robotic arms work, I think. It's not like I am animating a complex leg movement cycle or running cycle. So this should be easy enough for you to understand what I'm going to make the end product of. I'm basically skipping 40 frames each. Now, on the 120th frame, I'm going to make this one as the middle of my animation. So now I'm just going to click here and I'm going to copy the frames from 80th frame to 160th frame. So I'll press Ctrl plus C, deselect those frames. And now I am currently, according to the timeline, I am in the 160th frame. I'll press Ctrl plus V. Look, it has automatically copied the frames from one frame to another. Select the 40th frame, go 40 frame, go to this frame, copy them, paste them, go to frame number 240, and then copy the constraints from the first frame to the 240th frame. Now, if we play the animation, it works pretty fine, but if we go here, it does not work in a cyclic manner. What I want to do is I want to build a cyclic animation. And this is what many of you will like to do when you first making animations. Everyone will like to make them cyclic so as to point out where, because while making an animation cyclic and watching it on repeat, you can see what defects the modeling has or the texturing has, all that kind of stuff. So first, we are going to, we know that the end frame is at 240. So 240 minus 1, we have 239. We are going to make this animation 239 frames long. Now we will select the control bone according to which all the constraints have been set. Select all the constraints by pressing A. Remember that I am pressing A while I am in the timeline bar. If I press A here, it will not work. I have to select this bone and then go here and then press A. What this will do is select every frame that is there according to this bone. And then I will press Shift plus E. It sets the extrapolation of the frames and we want to make this cyclic. Select cyclic extrapolation. And one other step that we will do before playing out the animation is we will drag this upwards and go here, select the editor type to graph editor. See, it's here. If you go here, this is the graph editor. If I select now this, what this shows is, let me select the timeline from here, and this shows the graph of how the keyframes are animated and structured to function. So since, and this actually this works on Bezier, this is made on Bezier curves. You can edit them as you like, but we are going to leave them since we have already edited them as we're going to in the object mode, and bring up the timeline here and the 3D viewport menu here. All right, let's save this first. Let's go to object mode. We'll hide the armature so as to see how our animation works. And should I in the material? Okay, let's give it another color. By the way, shading and materials is going to be explained in the later part of this tutorial by my friend Ayush. I'll just give it another color. Let's make it a little bit metallic. All of this will be explained in the later session. So wait till that. My friend is going to explain. So, okay, it does look a bit metallic now. Should I? All right. This should looks all right. Let's save that and press space bar and the animation is playing. It's a bit slow. Let me edit the frame rate. By the way, this is here you can set the resolution. Right now it is 1080. The video output that will come out if I render this animation will be 1080. The aspect ratio, the frame start and the frame end, and the frame rate. Let me put this up to somewhat 50-ish. This should be good enough. All right. As you can see, the animation is working pretty much as we expected it to be. And that is all that is there to learn about rigging. Now, one more thing that comes along when we learn rigging is we often want to make things like humans, animals. So Blender has given you a very easy way to do that. Let me just hide this first. It's called as the Rigify add-on. I will show the Rigify add-on right now. All right, this should be all right. If we go to edit menu here, we'll go to preferences, add-ons, search for Rigify. As you can see, I have already turned this on. So what this does is it gives some automatic rigging from building block components. I'll show you what this means now. Now suppose I want to make a human, like a basic human, not the fingers and all, just a human. Now humans, we have bones in every part of a body. So I'll select this, I'll press shift plus a single human meta rig. Have we done here is we have, let's scale this up a bit so that you can see it clearly. This is an armature of a human already pre-made for you, because rigging is a very strenuous process, and instead of wasting time on making each and every bone for every human being, Blender already gives you an add-on on which you can do that, and this is free to use, this add-on Rigify. And these are all facial rigging bones. As you can see, let's go into the pose mode. This is the cheek bones, the nose bone, the forehead, the ears. This is the arm. As you can see, this looks pretty much good. But before animating anything like an animal or a dog or anything, almost anything with bones, the first thing that you must know is how the motion is going to happen. Like we can't move this arm backwards and call it, we can't move this in 360 and call it normal. So that's why we add constraints to the bones. And right now there are no constraints added here. As you can see, there are no constraints added here. If you want to learn this human rigging, we can do another session for that because it will be very complex to do right now. And just like that, we can have another rig. We have birds, cats, whatever you want. Everything is here. Now, this is one part of animation. That is a basic animation in which we can edit the location, the rotation, the scale of the objects. So let me show you another thing about animations is we will add a cube, the basic default Blender cube, and I will press N and bring up the transform menu. Yes, transform menu, and this shows you the scale, the dimensions, the location and rotation of the object. Now what we are going to do is first we will make this cube appear from the x-axis, like let's move this right there. Now as you can see, the location has changed. We have moved it some 10 meters away, and now I am hovering my cursor here. I will press I. What it does is it has set the set the position of the frame and locked it upon that first frame. Now I am going to edit the scale of it. I am going to make it small. Let's say yes, right there. And now I'm going to go to the, let's say, 60th frame. That should be nice. And move it along this Z axis right there near the origin. Now, as you can see, the X coordinate has again changed. We'll press I again while hovering over there. This has mapped the coordinates there again. Now we are going to edit the scale of this, and I'm going to increase the scale. That should be good enough, and press I. Let's make this cyclic. What we did earlier. Select everything, shift plus E, cyclic extrapolation. Now, this is just a basic effect, as you can see. Wait a second, yes. This is just a basic effect, but let me stop sharing my screen and I will show you one particular video that my friend made on his Instagram with this basic effect. This, although this effect may look very simple, you can make very complex things with this. Like, wait 1 or 2 minutes, I'm going to show them. Let's share the screen again. All right. This one here is my friend, and he makes small dioramas and things on Blender. You can follow him out, check him out on his ID. Uh, where is that animation? Yeah. See. So basically, what I just showed you in Blender, if we apply that here, you can make something like this. All of that was made in Blender. Now you might notice that some things are appearing magically, like some particles are getting integrated. That's all according to the geometry nodes and shader editor, which we are going to teach you in further lessons. But this diorama that is here of this small room, it was made in Blender. It looks very beautiful. Check this ID is my friend Viscous Rel. This is the static. See, and another good example of that. See, using such very basic effects, you can create something as good as this. It looked very basic when I did it, but if we apply it in a very creative manner, as my friend did it here, you can see we have something very, very beautiful. It looks very simple to do, but it's extremely, extremely hard. But it's not that extremely hard, but still hard. As you can see, there are many details here, like the Christmas tree, all the lights on that. This, I think he sculpted this one. All right. So this was one example of animation. Now let me show you motion graphics. So some of you guys were talking about geometry nodes, and geometry nodes is a very good way and a powerful way to create motion graphics. Let me turn down the frame rate of this animation. And this is a very simple geometry node project that I'm going to show you right now. Let the shaders load for a second. Okay. Yeah. So if I select the sphere here, the geometry nodes that I made for this come up right there. See, these are all geometry nodes we are going to teach you in the next class, but I want you to have a quick glimpse at what we are going to do in the next session after this. And just timeline. If I play the animation, it's a bit slow because of the frame drop, but it still looks very good. Let me show you in the geometry mode. See, it's dynamically changing the geometry of the object, and it looks like an animation. See, we can change anything that we need from here and here. So that was it for animation. This is actually very basic stuff that has taught you or showed you right now, because if you want to go deeper into animation, it will be a little bit difficult since you have to do proper modeling and texturing before that, which we are going to cover in the next session. So that was it, guys. Thanks for your patience, and I will hand over to Ayush now. Ayush, are you there? Hello, Ayush.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
You can start on with
Uh,
your presentation now.
yeah, sure. Just give me a minute. I
Yes.
have to stable my. Nakul, can you just allow me to share the screen?
Yeah. Check it.
Just please give me a minute, please. So as a thought about it, then and now I will cover the shading and the UV and red. It's Nakul has made the take arms. I'm basically uh, unwrapping 3D picture to D like that's still
Ayush, your voice is not clear, bro.
check.
Check them. Try again. Ayush, hello. You're muted.
Hello. Yeah,
Yes.
I just changed my mic. Is it okay now?
Yes. Yes. It's fine. It's working fine now. You may start with the session now.
Okay.
UV unwrapping.
ओके सो हाँ ए, आज के सेशन में हम लोग पहले यूपीएन रैपिंग एंड देन वी विल टॉक अबाउट द शेडिंग पार्ट और वी विल गेट टू नो व्हाट इज यूपीएन रैपिंग दैट्स दिस इज द लाइक basic so what यूपीएन रैपिंग does is it opens this the image we add some image uh, we add some paint and it basically the texture to this cube then what a UV wrap does, it shows that texture that in a 2D plane that we can see what is actually going on this 3D texture. Like select this is the unwrapping of this. How it is the UV unwrapping of this 3D. If UV unwrapping simply means cutting this 3D along the edges. For example, we just cut first of all we cut this edge, then we cut this edge again, and if we cut this edge here as well, then here, then here, and then here, uh, uh, and here. And then after cutting this, it will open. We can open this as a 2D 2D surface. This 3D like 3D cube will become a 3D, and it will look like right. I guess fine. And so UV for UV wrapping, we have proper arc seam. Arc seam does is it what it does is if we like take it, if you mark seam, what it will do is will cut this edge. Not in the real window, but as it says that it will be cutting this edge when we will the UV unwrapping. Again, we mark enter and right click mark this, and now we will select and press U and then unwrap. What it does, it just basically unwrapped this full 3D cube the way I cut it. Previous one was different, but this is the different UV unwrapping because I just cut it the different way. This is the basically UV. Yeah, so now we will think the UV.
यार आयुष तुम्हारी आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही है।
अच्छा, अब आ रही है? हेलो,
इंटरनेट इशू। हाँ हाँ अब आ रही है।
अब आ रही है मेरी आवाज?
Yes, sir. It's clear now.
हाँ
You
हाँ
can you can carry on.
ओके, ठीक है। तो अब मैं इसको तो UV unwrapping basically edit mode में we are going in a edit mode, and then what will be open a new window, and from how to Nakul, like there's a zoom application on the above of my screen, like how to
No, it's fine.
like
It's only sharing the Blender window that's open in your
no, but it is
laptop.
no, but it is causing trouble for me. I can't see.
Uh, then I guess you'll have to
Okay.
minimize it a bit because it will
उसको
stay
तुम
there.
मूव कर सकते हो नीचे like मतलब
You can drag that also. That green portion
Ah,
that
okay,
might be
yeah.
causing you trouble, you can drag that.
Okay. Okay. Now it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Carry on, carry on.
So now from here, we are going to change it to UV editor. Like this is the UV editor. And here from it, return image. Okay. It's a black. So what we can do, we can see grid image. What we will do is we will add this grid to this circle to see what is happening when we are unwrapped. So add this UV grid to this. What we're gonna do is properties. We are going to assign a new material. Then the base color, we will select the texture, this texture, and from here we will use. Now it is applied, but we cannot see. Why? Because we are in a solid view. From solid view, we will change to the material view. Now we can see this image is applied over. Now we can basically see that the above grid is perfect, is in a perfect scale. Why? Because it is all in a square, but we can along here it is a little bit stretched along this side, and there is a little bit stretch over here as well. We will see. We will see how to correct it, and over here as well. So basically, this stretching thing should be removed. Why? Because when we will add any image, like for example, let's add an image. This is a basically an image of texture of a brick, just an plain texture of a brick. So you can see here it is correctly placed, but along here, look, this is stretched. This is far stretched, like so much stretched out. And here it is also stretched along the y-axis. You can see, and here is also stretched. Like this, all things are stretched out. So we have to correct this thing. See this. So so for this thing, we have to do the UV unwrapping. Remove the stretching to remove the stretched part or make it a perfect scale. Now we will make it and select the edge. Now what we will do is we will select this edge around corners and we will just mark symbol. What just we will cut this. After cutting, we will unwrap it. Basically, this is the UV unwrapping. After cutting this part off, we cannot see the stretching thing. Activate and see how much it is stretched. We will here select the display. Now it will show that how much this UV grid is stretched. Actually, you might not be able to understand which part is showing which part. Understand that. Select this face is actually select this face, uh, showing the UV grid of it. Select the whole how it is. So as we already know that the above face is perfectly scaled, so there is no stretching. And how to that it is it stretch? It is a perfect any color which is not in shows that there is a stretching. Extent of stretching can be known by if the color goes red, then the stretching is. So we have to remove this all this stretching by mark seaming correctly. Let's do that. Now let's cut along one of the colors. Step select I select edge pressing Alt Shift F. uh, and we will mark them. So like unwrapping is a little, but yeah, the whole Blender 3D modeling is a
Yeah, like you can see that this model that Ayush is currently working on, I made that, but I did not correct the topology of it. So this is the problems that it causes while texturing the model. You have to have a
correct.
perfect topology of the object, or else the textures will be stretched like these.
So like to work on
And
the topology
there
as
are many n-gons in this mesh, and the topology is all out of place.
okay. We are little bit okay. Like we can see that there is much less stretching than before. Most of the things are, but you can see there is a that locations of this grid are changed. You don't have to worry about because it is just a texture, not the doesn't matter where the texture where this you doesn't matter. What it will does is it will change the image, background image, and also we can change the scale, and we have to change the scale to make this UV grid a square. That will show that on the right scale. Marks. Rest. And see the stretch. And we are done. So now this metal is perfectly unwrapped and there is no stretching. Now we are done. But we have changed the scale of circuit. Electric switch and all the phases. Press A here, select and we'll change the scale along Excel. I guess it is fine now. Yes. You can say at different conditions. I think we are done. The UV wrapping part is done. And this is somewhat the unwrapping of a ready as how much it used for scaling the image texture. Now we will Now we will add metallic texture to this model because this is basically a robotic arm. We will add metallic texture. Before adding the metallic texture, what I'm gonna do is I will go through first of all shading. Right? What is shading? Let's see what shading. So on
Ayush,
in a,
your voice is breaking
uh,
a little bit. So uh,
actually I have a problem with my mic, so spare me.
all right, all right.
So अब हम लोग एक यहाँ शेडिंग पार्ट में आएंगे. तो शेडिंग पार्ट में बैकग्राउंड बैकग्राउंड So now we will talk about some basic properties that we can add during the shading. So like base color is like the simple surface color. Surface करना चाहें सब. तो बेसिकली ये मेटल है तो इसको हम लोग थोड़ा डार्क then can place the metallic. So what is it doing that? It is the metallic connector in this. Also, like specular is also a part of metallic character. Also, can also so now what we'll do is we will add some texture. Add some texture. We will press Shift A. We'll go to texture. We'll add. Let's add a wave texture. So actually, we cannot add wave texture directly to the normal. So like normal, why we are adding anything to normal? So the normal means it will what will whatever will give a texture will it will give a 3D effect to this image. Okay. Now you can see added, and this is actually a wave texture. We can start it. No, start it.
Ayush, change that X to Y. It will look better, I think. Yes, it will go around the object in horizontal way. Yeah, see it.
So,
Oh, it is going all around the object. So this is you can also do some vector geometry or vector maths in Blender in the shader editor. That will be a pretty advanced stuff. Right now, this is what you can do this, and this looks good right now.
yeah, this one is can add some. Let's see what happens when we add some more texture. Let's see what happens. Add a noise texture. Uh, so completely changes the structure as we have seen before. Like it is adding a noise to this wave texture. You cannot basically see because it's very fine. But to understand that, what we can do is uh, we can actually see this on a UV sphere. Understand more about texture during shading. Let's add some. Let's add a new dark. Now with some normal again. Let's add some texture. Add a wave texture again. Let's see what happens when we combine both. So I'm going to give a bump if give a bump. Yeah. So this is the same wavy texture that we have seen. You can see more clearly what is happening here. Now change the scale, and now we can see the distortion effect. Can because we can do the distortion, but it was not possible before. See what happens when we distort it. Like the wave is distorted now. There are so many effects you can give. It depends on you and depends on uh, how much you want to for using these textures. Now again, to add this Bernoulli texture along with this, you can use the comp effect. Add this normal to the can uh, like you can see this Bernoulli effect. Uh, you can't see it's a little bit. So can you color ramp? Like you can see there is a uh, there is a kind of fracture in. You can see. Okay, we can add a noise texture as well. I don't know if you can. This is also the effect. Actually, there is there is noise, the cracking crack texture. But this is how add some text. I'm gonna do. I'm going to add the same in this one. You can also add same. But before adding this material, this and this, we have to do the UV unwrapping of this and this material. Well, we cannot when directly shading. There is no need of UV unwrapping. But when it will be when you will add image to this model, then the UV unwrapping come in picture. Let's add image texture in this. इमेज टेक्सचर हम लोग ऑनलाइन डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं ऑफलाइन टेक्सचर डाउनलोड there are so many sites with ambiguous many material text this one add this one yeah like these are the different images. Well, we will see what are all these different images means. So we'll study will create a new now we will add image texture by pressing shift and then go texture choosing image texture. Now we'll open downloaded file. Okay, so we'll choose the color one, the base color. So we'll this and we will apply this color to the base color. Now you can see that this image has been applied over this model. अगर हम लोग यही इमेज इस पे अप्लाई करते हैं क्या होता है देख लेते हैं So like you can see the difference between this and you can see there is stretch along this because ये अभी UV unwrap है ही नहीं, इसलिए इमेज इमेज पूरा का पूरा स्ट्रेच हो चुका है इधर, जो कि डिजायर्ड इमेज नहीं देगा हम लोग चाहिए हम. So this is the problem that will happen when we will add image without UV unwrap. Add some more effects. We will duplicate this by pressing Shift A, Shift B. Same downloaded, and we will choose the roughness. The roughness. Now we will link this file to roughness. Now you can see the roughness changed. This sir. It's more of a like a glassy type, a metallic texture, more of a tiles type texture. Then we will let's see what effect we have. Normal effect and displacement. Flat wood of that's the normal, and we cannot directly link this with this because it will not give the desired effect. As you can see, this color is with a yellow dot, but the normal is with the blue dot. We cannot link this directly. To link this directly, we have to use some. Either it will be a form or a normal map. Basically, we color to color and the normal. Now you can see what in say it's a fine bumpiness model, which is giving a 3D effect, right? See. Also, this is completely the image. There is no any distortion of this solid object. पूरा का पूरा image है. ये image को क्या किया गया है कि high resolution distorted solid low resolution model से तो coincide करके उसको bake कर, फिर bake करने के बाद ये normal image बन. अगर टाइम मिलेगा तो हम भी कॉल कर सकते हैं कि नॉर्मल मैप कैसे बनता है बेसिकली. सर नॉर्मल मैप एक्चुअली बहुत ही रेंडर टाइम को बचाता है, क्योंकि अगर रियलिटी में उसको डिस्टॉर्ट करेंगे, जैसे कि ये डिस्टॉर्शन हुआ है यहाँ, तो विल टेक लॉट ऑफ मेमोरी एंड अ लॉट ऑफ रेंडरिंग टाइम विच वी डोंट वांट. तो उसको कम करने के लिए हम लोग ये नॉर्मल मैप यूज करते हैं. मोस्ट ऑफ द ट्रिपल ए गेम्स एंड एनिमेशंस में इसको यूज किया जाता है नॉर्मल मैप. Now we will add a displacement. The displacement, let's see what this displacement is doing. Take this again. We cannot for displacement we have to use the vector displacement. This is the vector By the way, I forget that except the base color, every other nodes we have uh, change the color space to non-color data. First, this image is not the color to this model. It is just giving the roughness 3D effect to this model. We have to change it to non-color data. So actually, displacement is not so much in here. See, so but the displacement is similar to the normal. Not similar. Sorry, the displacement means there is an actual deformation 3D model. If I'm not wrong. So नॉर्मल क्या करता है कि वो एक ऐसे इमेज को उस पे मॉडल पे पेस्ट करता है जो कि इसको 3D इफेक्ट दे, लेकिन उसका पहले में कोई डिफॉर्मेशन नहीं कि हमको देख के लग रहा है लेकिन हुआ नहीं है. सॉलिड इट इज स्टिल अ फ्लैट plane. It is just an image. Nothing. And this was the for shading part, and we have covered the UV unwrapping part as well. Nakul, do we have time to cover the baking of normal? Like
I
to
think
show how the normal.
we should do that in the next session because that will take a lot of time and preparation too.
Actually, it will not take a lot of time. Be 5. Okay, we can cover it on the next part also.
Yeah.
Like if you have any, these all thing you can. It should. It must be looking like little difficult, but it's not. You will come handy. So or till 3 times get hand. It is not. It is bad. You have to play with different textures and different maps, bump maps, normal, and can really uh, textures. That's it. Thank you.
किसी को कोई डाउट हो तो पूछ लो वरना रिकॉर्डिंग देखने के बाद यार स्टॉप तो बिल्कुल खत्म करते हैं.
All right, then let's end this session. Yeah.